Here we go, guys. It's lesson two. It's lesson two of the Connecting with Your Children challenge. And in this lesson, we're going to think about how to approach things in the best way possible. And this is in regards to how to approach difficult conversations, difficult situations, and what these really mean for us as men, where we're at the moment. So difficult conversations. So we're obviously going to have a lot of difficult conversations through the lifespan of our child, right? This is crucial. The fact is that some difficult conversations are going to be had very soon, if they haven't already, or in very soon time, like not long. So we want to be prepared, right? We want to be able, if they happened in the past and haven't gone so well, we want to be able to learn from that. And moving forward, we want to be prepared as best as possible to maximizing the result that we get. We don't want to fuck up, basically. We don't want to fuck up at this pivotal point because it could potentially dictate how things pan out in the future, right? We want to set the standard early. Too forceful, and we're coming off as a dick. Not enough sensitivity and accuracy, and we won't have even, broached the topic kind of thing. We won't have really got out of the conversation what we wanted to get in the first place. And if we think about in the future, like if we can't have these conversations now when they're kind of young, can we expect ourselves to have them when they're older? Because what it will ultimately mean for us as men is that we haven't obtained that skill. We haven't learned that lesson of having hard conversations with our children, because it's going to happen, and as a result, your kids aren't going to feel that kind of deep feeling of wealth and knowledge and wisdom and connection with you as a man, as a father. And, like I said, difficult things are going to come up in life. Like, that's inevitable. It's going to happen. How you deal with them, though, when your kid is going off the rails, for example, or in their teenage years, or like they're in a bad relationship, which is causing them to do some stupid things, like how you approach those situations is really going to determine your relationship with them. So we want openness, right? We want free and easy communication. We want it to be free and easy with our children because we know that they are probably hurting to some degree, and we want them to feel comfortable with us to open up. When we can see that in our children that they're opening up, it means that the connection's there, right? It means that the wall's been broken down. If they feel like they can open up to us, it means that we're doing something right. It means that we're going about things in the right way. And in the future, we want the connection between us to be so good that difficult conversations aren't even a thing. Like you're so tight, you respect each other so much, you both are at ease with each other, and your child sees you as that, wealth of wisdom, knowledge, he just has the right answers kind of thing. You want that kind of relationship in the future. So how do we get there? All right, so at the moment, right, you never want to go with silence, basically. So when kind of awkward topics come up, like for example, if you've got your kids round and something comes up about their mum, you don't want to just ignore it. Yeah, you don't want to just shut it out and shut it down. You don't want to just shut up shop about any particular topic around your kids that you feel is inappropriate or shouldn't be spoken about or is, awkward for you to say. Because if you go into silence, it tells them that topic is taboo. It tells them that it's we don't talk about those things. So it actually shows them that if it tells them that if we don't like to talk about a particular topic, then we just shut it down and we suppress it, right? And obviously they're not good things to teach our children. We want them to be open. We want them to be confident and be able to raise concerns when they feel it. So we don't want to teach them by example that we just don't, if a topic is awkward or it's uncomfortable, that we just say, shush, and be quiet. So that's the main thing for silence. And we really want to be very conscious of the things that we're saying around our children, just in general. So when it comes to, let's talk about when it comes to talking about your ex, for example. You need to be so conscious of the things that you say, especially if you have, if you have bad feelings towards her, if you've got some animosity, you've got some resentment there, you don't feel like she's a good mother, a good person, whatever it is. Because kids pick up on that. And so, for example, if your kids were to say, "Oh, I miss mummy," if you were to then be like, just ignore it, like for silence, what does that say? It says, don't talk about mummy. And then if you, for example, do like a sort of off the cuff gesture, like, "Oh, yeah, right," or something like that. Okay, those kind of things, that general vibe that you're putting out when the mum comes up in conversation, that has big effects on your kids. And it works both ways. And I know a lot of guys have suffered through this because their ex has done this, but we don't want to be doing it. On our end, we don't want to be doing it. We don't want to be playing tit for tat, and we basically don't want to be teaching our children that that expressing concerns for their own parent or their feelings towards their mum is a bad thing to do. Because if you dismiss it, poo-poo it, shut it down, then they'll eventually stop expressing that feeling because they're like, "Oh, daddy doesn't like it," So be conscious of the things that you're saying around your kids because it has a big impact. And when it comes to actually discussing a topic, we need to ease into it. So the first things first, right? You need to make sure that the environment is relaxed and comfortable. Right, it needs to be familiar. It needs to be at home or where they're playing with their toys or something. Right, not at like a huge, get together or something like that. We need to begin by asking some general yes or no answer questions. Things that they like. Maybe, "Oh, how was school? Did you like this? Did you like that? Do you like going to the park?" Whatever it is, okay? Just general things. And then you maybe want to shift it up a level after a few questions, just by asking, "Do you like daddy's house? Oh, do you like mummy's house? Oh, yeah, cool." You know what I mean? Just start beginning to like try and ease into trying to broach a particular topic. So, say for example, your child is really withdrawn with you when they come to your house or something. All right, you start out very general, start out very easy, yes, no. Then you just warm them up, and then they start to open up in terms of communication. And then you just say, I noticed this. What happened there? So I noticed that obviously this is, you have to tailor this to how old your child is. But, generally it's like, "Oh, I noticed X, Y, Z. Can you tell me about that? I noticed that you were upset when you came to my house. Can you tell me about that?" And then it just opens up the floor, "I noticed X, Y, Z. Can you tell me about it?" It's not too invasive, it's not too thing. It's just like, "Oh, I noticed this. Can you tell me about it?" It's inquisitive. Yeah, you don't want to be like accusatory when you're talking to your kids. You want to be inquisitive. Always inquisitive. Always asking, "Oh, I was just wondering about this." Not making a big deal of it, but just ask questions. So really being conscious of like how you ease into the flow of like talking about hard conversations is very important. And obviously, when they're young, this is pretty important. And then when they're older, you should hopefully have built the relationship by then. But that's something else for another lesson. But anyway, I want you to decide. I want you to make a decision. I'm going to be conscious of the things I say in front of my child. I refuse to be silent when I know I shouldn't be. I will push my comfort zone when it comes to communication. You need to make the decision. Make the decision to do it. So the task here for this week is underneath this video in the comments, I want you to write out how you're going to approach specific conversations. So if your child is acting out, or if your child is withdrawn, or if your child is consistently throwing tantrums for whatever reason, I want you to write out in the comments how you're going to approach the situation knowing what you've learned in this lesson. So write it out, write out what the best thing that you're going to do is, and then I'll see you in the next vid.